The bottom line is that brands that don't prioritize figuring out how to become customer centric and completely overhaul their approach to marketing will not be around for much longer. I analyzed 100 B2B homepages, and almost none of them answered the critical questions buyers care about the most. Welcome back to Heart Before Cart. Today, I'm going to walk you through what I learned from analyzing 100 B2B homepages and what changes 99% of websites need to make if you want to convince more people to buy from you and actually survive the next few years. So why B2B? Because B2B is often considered the most boring industry. And I can tell you that these mistakes are not just being made by B2B companies. They're being made by e-commerce brands, by D2C, service-based companies. Everyone's making these mistakes, and we really need to fix them. So let's dive in. Out of 100 B2B homepages that my team and I reviewed last year, there were 3 common issues that we noticed. The first one is that almost all the homepages were unclear or had overly generic hero sections that didn't clearly communicate their value proposition or even connect with prospects. Almost all of these pages focused heavily on their product, their features, their company accomplishments, rather than the prospect's pains, their challenges, or the outcomes that they're looking for. This is a problem. When they are overly focused on themselves, they are completely forgetting the customer, which means that when a customer comes to their page, a prospect, someone that could buy from them, they're not actually saying, hey, you're in the right place. This product is for you. So that was the number one mistake that we saw. Next, many homepages, almost all of them, had overly complicated layouts, distracting design elements, stuff like, videos on autoplay and carousels, unclear call to action buttons, and inconsistent visual elements, making it so difficult for prospects to read their copy, to actually understand the primary purpose of the website or take the desired next step that they want to in their journey. And this is a thing that happens. It's been happening for decades. Every time there's a new shiny object, someone's introducing a new cool thing that looks lovely and everyone starts doing it, and we forget about readability. We forget about UX. We forget that actual people, not robots, are reading our copy, are trying to understand the content. And we spend so much time trying to make it look pretty that we actually overcomplicate and make it really hard for people to understand what the heck it is that we're selling. Now, so talked about problem number 1 and mistake number 2. The biggest mistake of them all is that almost all of the homepages lacked emotional resonance. Their messaging failed to show empathy or connect with their audience. Actually, there was no attempt to tie their product or the service or the solution that they were offering to their customers' pains and challenges. In many cases, the customer was just nowhere to be found. You couldn't know who it was even for. It would be impossible to know who this company was even speaking to. And it is something that I see happen all over the web. We have completely forgotten about the customers and why they buy from us. And then people come to our website and they can't see themselves. They don't know what you offer. They don't understand why you particularly are right to solve this problem for them. And the thing is, buyers are actively trying to decipher what this website and marketers are trying to say to them, but we're too busy onboarding new cool AI tools. So the bottom line is that brands that don't prioritize figuring out how to become customer centric and completely overhaul their approach to marketing will not be around for much longer. As long as marketers use AI more and more and all brands start sounding and looking the same and pulling from the same AI slop, the harder it is going to be to actually compare products. The only way to stand out and survive is to become obsessed with being customer-centric, is to create customer journeys that are all about the customer. As I mentioned in previous episodes, it's not just about our website. We have to be obsessed about our customers and be customer centric all over the web, on Reddit, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook. Everywhere where we are present, we need to have a certain sentiment that is all about the customers. If you do not know who your customers are, you're going to have a really hard time connecting with them and actually convincing them to buy from you and not your competitor. Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Heart Before Cut. In this day and age, we all need to recognize that we need to become customer centric, and obsessing over customers isn't nice to have. It's the only way to survive.